All right, dear children, now we move to the next topic as per kinetic theory of gas is concerned, that is called postulates of kinetic theory of gases. Now, when you talk about the postulate is also we call as assumption, okay, of kinetic theory of gases. Now, this postulate is basically for ideal gases. That means the postulate which I will discuss is basically applied for what? Ideal gas. That's why in order to calculate, remember this part children, in order to calculate the pressure of a gas, because every gas exerts pressure, okay, so in order to calculate pressure of a gas, and this pressure can be calculated on the basis of kinetic theory of gases, and this kinetic theory of gas has number of postulates or number of assumptions, and this assumption which we will discuss now is true basically for ideal gas. For what gas? Ideal gas. So one of the first property or postulate or assumption of kinetic theory of gas is all the molecules, remember this, all the molecules of a gas, means which gas? Ideal gas, are identical. Yes, this is true. Means whatever number of molecules that is made for a gas, okay, all the molecules are identical. That means identical means their size are same, the shape is same, okay, and most important is the molecules are rigid and these molecules are very small in size. That means the size of the molecules in an ideal gas is very, very small, okay, but all the molecules are identical with all respect, okay. So the volume of the molecules, if the molecules are very small in size, definitely the volume of the molecule is negligible. The volume of the molecule, this is molecule only, the volume of the molecule is negligible compared to the volume occupied by the what? Gas. Yes, gas occupy a certain volume, but as compared to the total volume occupied by the gas, if you compare the volume of each molecules, the volume of each molecule is very negligible compared to the volume occupied by the what? Gas. So this is number one assumption or postulate of kinetic theory of gas. Now we have number two postulate, and number two postulate say that the molecules inside the vessel, the molecules of the gas inside the vessel keep on moving continuously in all possible direction. All possible direction means definitely their motion is what? Random motion, and this motion become very fast because the molecules are very small in size, and these molecules which move inside the vessel are in a constant random motion, and they move in a straight line in all possible direction. So this is number two postulate. Now we have next postulate, and number three postulate say that the duration of collision. Now see the word I am using called collision. So definitely collision can occur, means one molecule collide with other molecules, and this definitely happens because the motion is a random motion. So duration of collision is negligible compared with the time spent by a molecules between two successive collision. Means one molecules collide with another molecules. After collision, both the molecules change the direction, but that molecules also collide with another molecules. Means if one molecules have a two successive collision with other two molecules, then definitely there is a time spent to collide, to have two successive collision, and that time spent is usually large as compared to the time spent by the molecules to collide with another molecules. So try to understand. When one molecule collides with another molecules, this collision takes place in a very small interval of time, and this time interval between two molecules, collision between two molecules, is less compared to or negligible compared to the time spent by one molecules to collide with another molecules, next molecules. Now why it happens? Because you know molecules in the gases are usually very far away from each other. So when one molecule collides with another molecules, after collision, that molecule again go and collide with another molecules. Okay, to have two successive collision definitely take time also, but time required to have two collision between two molecules is negligible compared to time spent by the molecules to have two successive collision. Collision. Okay, so this is number three assumption. Now we have next assumption, that is number four. Number four assumption say that the collision between two molecules is perfectly elastic. And you know, you have learned in Newton's law of motion chapter, collision are two types. One is called elastic, one is called inelastic collision. Elastic collision is such a collision where the kinetic energy as well as the momentum remain constant. So the collision between the molecules of the gas is one of the good example of elastic collision. But what type of collision? Elastic, perfectly elastic collision. Because in this collision, the kinetic energy remain conserved, the momentum is also remain conserved, and the total energy also remain what? Conserved. That means there is no loss of energy takes place between the collision between the molecules of the gas. That's why the collision between the molecules is perfectly elastic. Okay, so this is also one of the assumption also called the postulate of kinetic theory of which gas? Ideal gas. We are dealing with which gas? Ideal gas. Now another point that I want to add, I just want to say that is, when I take ideal gases, we have already considered that there is no force of attraction between the molecules. So for ideal gas, we have assumed that, okay, the attraction between the molecules is what? Negligible. That means no force of attraction between the what? Molecules. Okay. Hence, these molecules move in a straight line with a constant what? Speed. They move in a what line? Straight line with a constant what? Speed. This is also one of the important part for collision between the two molecules and for the assumption of kinetic theory of gas. So I've just highlighted four postulate or assumption of kinetic theory of what gas? Ideal gas. Now with this concept of kinetic theory of ideal gas, we actually derive the expression of pressure of an ideal gas. And this expression of pressure of an ideal gas we discuss in the next class. Thank you so much.